You've talked often in terms of having 9 or 10 deep on the offensive line. What's the number this year?
Yeah, I think actually this year we're a little bit closer. I know last year we were striving for 8 or 9, and really after Taylor's injury, that was impactful, and we still had a few guys that we felt confident about, but there were some injuries that held a few of those guys in their development back. But I feel pretty confident about our depth right now, and Coach Kleiman has mentioned that one of our goals throughout this spring practice is really to increase that depth, and not only in situations where a guy might get injured, but in situations where we can take advantage of that depth within the team and also keep guys as fresh as possible.
The fact that everybody back likely won't be here next year also, is that do you kind of need to get some game experience for some of the younger guys?
That's part of what you would say. Obviously with the anticipation of 4 of those guys who could potentially leave after this year, 3 of them who for sure will be completing their eligibility, creating a situation where you're not replacing just 4 guys with game experience is something that's in the back of your head. But at the end of the day, we need to do what's going to give us the best opportunity to win football games.
So when all these guys announced they're coming back, did you have to have your spot isn't guaranteed talk, or is it guaranteed?
No, there is no guarantee. And, it was the conversations that we had were very, very shortly after the Big 12 championship game. And as you guys understand, with recruiting, the transfer portal, and everything that goes along with it, unfortunately, these young people don't have 4 weeks to really sit on it and digest, and I kind of told them, your decision is going to be one that I support, regardless if you choose to move on or if you come back. But it's going to be a decision that we certainly are not going to beg anyone to come back. And don't mistake that for the fact that I'm not excited that all of those guys are coming back, because I am very excited for that. But we will continue to compete, and that's what I've really encouraged some of those younger guys is don't feel complacent right now within your role. That role is up to you to change that role. So no, there's no guarantees.
Obviously, if Taylor's healthy, he'll push to get time. But what other young guys are out there that might actually challenge for a starting spot?
Well, it's hard to determine right now after 6 practices, because you do have so much experience. Some of the younger guys, Taylor's is doing some individual drills, is not doing team drills, but he's much further along than where he was this time a year ago. So that is encouraging. And I feel like he's moving better now in individual than he was even in fall camp this past year. So obviously a name you mentioned, I've been very pleased with Carver Willis. And, he and I had a conversation, brief one, just a few days ago with how impressed I am with his play. There's needs to be some consistency factors that go along with it. Andrew Linegang, and we've settled with Andrew a little bit more in the interior position. In part because I'm excited about the 3 redshirt freshmen, the young men who joined us this past fall. And one that I've been very, very pleased with is Sam Hecht. I think Hector's been doing a phenomenal job, and he's been getting a lot of reps against the interior starting 3, which I think are pretty good for our defense with Oos and Deuce and that whole crew. So been pleased. Those are just a few of the names. John Pastore. John Pastore can be pretty special,
I'm sorry. Is Spanzer still a multi-position kind of guy?
Yeah, Hadley is right now taking the lion's share of reps at right guard, and with the way that we structured practice with some of the older guys who have had multiple starts, not going into some of the particular team sessions, he's gotten a whole lot of reps at center as well. So he is becoming more and more versatile at that position. I tell the guys all the time, the more positions that you can play, the more value you can bring to this football team. And, you know, even for the younger guys, I tell them the more positions that you can play, then from a learning standpoint, I don't learn just what the left tackle's doing or the right guard's doing, but I'm learning conceptually what we're trying to accomplish as an offensive unit. So it helps their learning curve. They can get frustrated in the immediacy, but then down the road, and there's no better example than Cooper Beebe. You know, Cooper Beebe's started games at right tackle, right guard, left tackle, and he goes out every day at practice and is doing quarterback center exchange. So, you know, we're getting some at center with him.